Welcome back, everybody, to Creating Character, the podcast. I'm James Willems. This is three men's journey, two on camera, one off, to kind of figure out what's next, what we've been up to, and then how we go to wherever we're going next, and whatever that means, and doing it all out in the open. Eric likes to say it's watching how the sausage is made, and I kind of hate how that sounds.
What do you mean?
Sky,
That's a normal phrase.
how do you feel?
I feel, hey, we're still here.
We're still here.
We haven't been canceled yet. I love it.
Yeah, officially.
We've got week 2.
Yes.
Week 2.
We're back for week 2. If you joined us for the first episode, we kind of caught everyone up on where we've been since the last podcast we all did together. And we're going to keep elaborating on that. That's kind of the fun of this show is talking to all of you very transparently about everything that's going on. But we did introduce a fun little game that we want to make reoccurring, which is with the name of the show, Creating Character. We want to create some characters on the show. You told the story of Thug Compton, excuse me. And then we briefly mentioned Hood Rich.
Richard Hood.
Richard Hood, also known as Richard Hood. And so I just want to tease that at the top because we are going to get into that. We'll get into that a little bit later on.
We'll get into Hood Rich.
Yeah. But I wanted to start this episode kind of with the theme of like getting back to it.
Love that.
So I think the things that you and I are looking down the barrel of are pretty physical. And I just kind of wanted to ask you about with like professional wrestling, people don't always realize how physical that is and how a lot of that takes place outside of a ring, preparing and training. And like, what's that like for you?
One of the things we always talk about is like the matches themselves don't break you down. It's the road. It's everything that it takes to get to the matches. Like I will give you my schedule on a random TV week. It would be get up at anywhere from 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning, get to the airport by 6, catch a flight either to Salt Lake City or Atlanta on a Delta flight. Maybe you have a layover. It's usually used to be Frankie Kazarian and I. So maybe you have a layover. Sometimes that layover might be 2 hours. Then you get on another flight and you fly to whatever city you're in. You get there somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 to 10 p.m. And you try to get a quick bite to eat, and then you go to sleep, and then you got to get up and go to the gym. And then you've got a show that day. So, I mean, that's just the travel day. I haven't had a match yet. I haven't taken a bump. Like, my travel day starts at 3 a.m. It ends, by the time I actually get some food and get in bed, maybe 1 a.m., 12 a.m. And then that's just to get to the town. So it's tough. That's the part that kind of wears you out a little bit. It's not so much even the long days on the road, at shows or whatever I should say, or the bumps. It's just getting there, which is tough. And that's why you have to stay in good shape and create good habits. And, it becomes second nature, similar to just getting up and going to a regular job in the morning.
Do you ever learn to love it?
I do love it.
Yeah.
I still love it. I've been doing this for so long. And I think part of the reason I do love it is because I never forgot what it was like to get up and go to a day job where like, and I'll tell you, man, it was such a mind. Are we going to cuss on this show?
Go for
or
it.
not?
Do it. Throw it out there.
It's going to mess up our YouTube stuff,
No.
It's a mind F. I'm a sailor in real life, but I want to make money too. So
that's what I'm talking about.
It's a mind F where like I would go do an indie show and, you might have anywhere 300, 500 people screaming, cheering your name, like asking you for pictures, asking you for autographs. And then 12 hours later, you've got this guy in a button up cussing you out because you're 5 minutes late to work. It's just like, it's so different, man. But again, I never forgot what it was like to go work a day job that you may have necessarily not have liked. And so I don't take it for granted. I'm still grateful.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough because there's this is a different kind of breaking you down, but there's also, there's tons of stories of people who work regular, normal jobs and they're like, oh yeah, like my hips are ruined.
Oh,
like
yeah.
like because I basically went into a place and
Yeah.
I either stood there for 8 hours or whatever, without even all the travel and all those other expectations. I mean, sometimes it's like that's what work is.
It also, you have to stay in shape and take
Yeah.
care of your body, and that becomes second nature. Yeah, I think when I'm 80 years old, if I have 2 or 3 days where I don't go to the gym, I'm still gonna have that mentality of
Yes.
like, oh my God, what am I doing? I
Yeah.
need to go do something. I need to work out. And speaking of that, I've been seeing your social media.
Yeah.
And you've been getting swole though.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You've been getting real swole though. And like I'm curious to know about your journey, because you've got like a gym in your house, it looks like.
Yeah.
And you're putting up all these weights that make me feel bad about myself. So like, tell us about your path.
So yeah, I mean, so I don't know what so my fitness journey started, I don't even remember, like when I was like 13. I grew up watching wrestling and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone, superheroes. I'm a 80s and 90s kid, so this was when it was larger than life. The bigger they are, the bigger the hero and stuff like that.
The good old
Superheroes.
like shake the hand and like
Exactly,
squeeze,
yes.
like-
And so that, for better or for worse, like infected my brain. I was like, well, that's how I should look. That's the only way. That's the only option. And I remember I played football with my friends, basically like sandlot football, and I was pretty good at it because I was a little bit bigger, but I hadn't trained for it. And then I went out for the football team, and just like the push-ups were impossible. And I was like, well, I hated that. I was like, this is not, I immediately went, this isn't how I'm going to get to be the way I want to be and the way I want to look. So I hated that. But I also remember going and looking in the mirror and flexing my pecs for the first time.
Yeah. Like
Which
making
is
them
like
pop.
a huge, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like, you'd see narcissist Lex Luger, he'd come out and he'd do the thing. and I was like-
Narcissus.
yeah. And I would go, I don't know how is he doing that? I don't understand. How's that work? How do you make that happen? And it happened, and I went, oh.
Yeah.
And I went the very next day, and I went to my dad, and I was like, can you take me to the gym? I was probably like 12 years old. And he was like, sure. So he took me to our family gym, and then I would work out with him. My brother and I did it first, but then at a certain point, my brother was like, and I just
Did your
kept
dad
going.
teach you how to?
Yeah, but I mean,
properly?
he's not a physical trainer or anything. He's just like a guy who exercises. So like he's like, here's the bench press. Like,
Oh,
here's the bench. There's machines. Like, I guess we'll just figure it out. I mean,
you just do it.
So but I just really fell in love with it, like the process of it, and I would go after school, and it became kind of my thing. And some of my friends would then start being like, "Hey, can we come with you to the gym?" and stuff like that. But it was mostly like me, like a 13-year-old kid, and then all these big dudes,
Mhm.
like, and so. And they were always super nice. It was always a very open and helpful community, because like there'd be these guys who were probably, like, thinking back now, probably in their like mid 30s,
Yeah.
lifelong lifters. They'd be like, hey, just so you know, you might want to like do it this way, or do you need any help or anything like that, being very helpful. So I don't know, I kind of fell in love with the whole process of it, and then just never stopped.
I love that.
Just never stopped.
Working out is such a great example of something where it's just you work
Yeah.
at something, you put in the work, and then you see the results.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that.
Mhm.
You don't, it's not like it's personal. So it's like, if this person doesn't want me to succeed, that they're not going to stop my muscles from growing.
Yeah.
As long as I work them. And so
Yeah.
that's something that's super, super cool. I thought it was funny. You said that you were talking about your dad taught you how to work out. So like my dad wasn't around much as a kid.
Mhm.
And so I kind of like originally started learning how to work out by watching Rocky movies.
Oh,
Wow,
okay.
really?
Yeah, which like not all the stuff he
I
did
guess
was,
no,
you know,
We just like
Rocky
chasing
movies.
chickens around.
There's
like,
some that you're like, okay, but yeah, then I guess Rocky 4.
gotta go
Rocky
get this chicken.
4 was a big one.
But which one were you learning from, Drago or Rocky?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Rocky for sure, man. Like the whole like hanging from something and
Yeah.
trying to like do crunches and that sort of thing. Like that was the thing. Like I was the same way, man. Big 80s fan of everything back then was like muscles and,
Yeah.
and Rambo and Terminator and everyone was just jacked and ripped and tanned. And like, I was like, I've got one of those three.
Yeah, you got-
like, I got to work on the other
Yeah,
two,
yeah.
you know? Like,
Yeah.
and so, but I was a skinny kid. What, like, how were you built as a kid?
I feel like I was built bigger.
Oh, you were like
I-
chunky or like just,
I there are definitely photos of me like 10 years old where I would say I was pretty chunky, but I wasn't like, I don't think I was like a chunky kid. I guess I could have to ask someone else. My
Yeah.
perspective.
yeah,
was-
were you a big
but
kid?
like, I think I definitely was like larger of my friend group, but not necessarily like overweight or
Gotcha.
chunky or anything. But then again, I started working out when I was 12. So like I rode the
Yeah.
wave of puberty
Yeah.
and then I just became the kid with muscles. right?
Ah,
And so then I just was like, well, I don't ever want to let that go.
Yeah.
I'd be stupid to let that go. And going back to the wrestling thing, I did backyard wrestling
Same.
when I was like 14, 15 years old, and it wasn't dropping like fluorescent light bulbs. We built a ring in the backyard, and we plotted out matches and we told stories, and like half of the thing would be us with a microphone that's not plugged into anything talking into a VHS camera. And I just remember of all my friends, I was the only one who could flex and have something there. That was like one of my moves was I would basically slam the person, flex my bicep, and then drop an elbow on him.
You're the
And it
Big
was
Papa
like,
Pump.
Steiner.
What
You're
the
the
heck?
Scott
Like,
Steiner.
Big Papa Pump
But this
stole your
is,
stuff.
this is like basically, before or around the same
That's
time.
awesome.
But I was like, but it was like so devastating. But I just remember it was a thing. Like I had biceps, the other kids did not, and I just was like, well, why would I ever want to like let this go? But then slowly, as I got into it, I was like, I guess I should start learning more. Like,
Yeah.
and it's wild now to think about how you can just go on YouTube or go on Reddit, or you can. All the information is everywhere.
It's all there.
And I didn't have that. So you're like figuring it out. If I
For
could
sure.
go back, like the things that I know now and how I would train is
Oh,
so
God.
wildly different. And that kind of brings us up to now when my job ended and I had this gym in my garage, which isn't much. It's basically just a squat rack and some dumbbells. And I said,
Humble brag.
yeah. I said, I'm gonna do this as efficiently as possible. Like my age, the time that I have the time, right? I have no excuse. There's no you get home from work, you're too tired to go to the gym, which is completely understandable. There's none of that. And so I said, I'm gonna consume as much information as I can, which I always had done casually, and I'm gonna hit it with maximum efficiently. I'm gonna like use apps to track my food and do
Wow.
all that stuff. And so the photo that I think you're alluding to, my most recent photo of me feeling pretty good about
Huge.
myself. I always try and add clarifiers too, because I was like, sometimes you're like, the sun. The sun. This is
Yeah.
take photos. Hurry.
Yeah,
Hurry,
yeah.
get the camera. Right.
Good
like you
lighting.
just know it's in the right
very
spot.
important.
Yelling at your wife, get the camera,
Yeah.
get it to the sun.
And but then also I was like, okay, well I've been a little dehydrated this week.
So you're ripped.
So you're like, look better. But I always try and add that too, because I have an Instagram which I use to just promote all kinds of stuff like this podcast and everything. But then I have a separate Instagram, which used to be devote. Well, I had a whole thing with like
Freak
feet.
mode,
And at a
The
certain
feet-
point,
God damn.
At
The
a certain
feet
point, I
page.
was like, this is where I'm going to post fitness related stuff because I don't want to burdens people's timeline with me benching or whatever, unless that's what they're interested in. So every time I communicate on my fitness Instagram, it's always, listen, I think I look killer here and I'm proud of what I've achieved.
Should
But
be.
here are 5 bullet points of very specific conditions that were met for me to feel like I hit it on this day in this photo. And so so I always try and do that. And that was one of the things I remember. I was dehydrated because I had a wrestling match and the lighting was perfect. I had just done a whole upper body pump. Like I was pumped out of my brain. I even, because I knew I was going to take photos, I was like, all right, I'm going to do some ab stuff. So
Yeah.
it was targeted. Like if you took a photo from a different angle or whatever of my legs, like
Yep.
it won't go look that
It doesn't
way.
work. Yeah.
But yeah, basically part of losing my job was a huge benefit because I said, now I have no excuse, right? Like I'm going to be down there every single day doing everything I can to try and maintain my health.
And
look
that's
good.
interesting because like whatever finds what like whatever makes you find the motivation. I learned a lot about working out from a wrestler that was in the business before
Big
me,
Poppa
and I learned
Pump.
from Big Poppa Pump, Big Poppa Pump. Yeah, it was actually Akeem.
Oh.
No, we'll talk about him in a minute, but yeah, his wrestling name was Mr. Excitement. His real name is Ed. He's a good friend of mine to this day, and he was like jacked. And in Southern California, when I started wrestling, there were not bodies. Like there was Frankie Kazarian that would pop in from time to time, Christopher Daniels. They were in good shape, and everyone else was like skinny guys like me. But he was jacked. And one day I asked him, like, how did you get so big? And he just said, a girl broke my heart and I took it out on the weights.
Damn.
And I'm
All
just
right.
like, damn, man. Like,
wow.
that's pretty sick. But yeah, like, and it becomes addicting though, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, it becomes very addicting to, like, you, especially when you see the results. And the pump, and it's something that, you know, everyone laughs about. You, there's the famous video of Arnold Schwarzenegger from Pumping Iron talking about the bump. When your blood is feeling, it feels like air, someone's blowing air into your muscles. And to me, it's as satisfying as, you know what I mean.
He says all day.
All day.
So look at me all day. I'm doing it.
I love that movie.
That's a great movie.
Let me ask you this, because I'm just getting back into the gym. We have a mutual friend, me and James, our friend Blaine, who has a home gym and is very dedicated to being as big as humanly possible. I mean, he's huge.
He's huge. Yeah.
And he was kind of falling off having like a regiment, and he hit me up and he's like, hey, do you want to be like the workout buddy? I need someone who's going to like keep me honest. And so we're 3 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day off.
Nice.
It's like how we do it or whatever. I'm just starting. I had been going for probably like a year and a half working out like that. And I put on a lot of size. I felt really good. And then just totally stopped because our schedules didn't go. Getting back into it now, we're way more efficient than we were the last time we were working out. And I'm seeing results. It's like my size came back, like especially like in my arms and my chest. Size came back really fast. I've only been at it for like a month and I feel good. But what is like, I think people think that being in the gym is like, man, this is gonna be like a long thing, whatever. I'm finding like you put in like a solid 45 minutes and that's a great workout. What do you guys think are like the keys to that? Like, what is a good workout? If you had like 2 or 3 things on like a good workout, what are those
Well,
things?
before that, I want to chime in real quick because you talking about it coming back real fast is very true. People feel like if they've fallen off, there's no sense getting back on because they're I was working out for 2 years and then I haven't for 6 months. So what's the point of going back? It comes back
so
Muscle
fast.
memory.
You make this
your
permanent.
body remembers.
Yeah.
But with that, those 2 years, you don't realize it. And this is one of the things I love about exercise and fitness is it's chiseling. It's small, little non-increment. There'll be good days where you'll be like, oh my God, I see it, like breakthroughs or whatever. But most of the time you just do the work and you're like, I still look like shit. You know,
That's
like
me all the time.
I still look what is going on? And but if you could go back and you could look at yourself 6 weeks earlier, you'd be like, oh my, there and there and there. So just the 2 point there of like the process, and I think that humbles you too.
Yeah,
you can start looking at other things, trying to save money, right? Or like trying to build something, building a podcast or whatever. Like I know it's our second episode and we're already. I think we got
So-
million listeners or whatever.
Yeah, millionaires.
I'm speaking it into existence.
But other podcasts, there's this small crawl. Like there's the work in doing it and just trying to be as efficient and good as possible. So I just want to say that it's a great mindset to have.
Well, I think like James was saying is efficiency. You know, you don't need to go in and be in there for an hour or 2 hours. Like you can have a great workout in 30 to 45 minutes. One of the things I would tell people about, and I discovered this on a video, shout out, there's a page, it's called like Athlean X or something.
Yeah.
And they had this workout, it's called like the 100s.
Oh yeah.
And so what you do is, let's say you're training chest that day. You'll go in and you'll do like a primer set, right? So you'll take a weight that you would fail at, you know, about 10 to 12 reps.
Yeah.
And then you do those 10 to 12 reps. And that's just a primer set. It doesn't count. So then you give yourself a 15-second break and then you do 20 reps. However long it takes you to do those 20 reps, whether it be 20 straight, which you should not be able to do with that weight, but it could be 2 sets of 10, it could be 5 or 4 sets of 5, like it could be 20 sets of 1, but only rest for 15 seconds in between your sets. And so you do that for 5 workouts. And when you get in there and you really do it and you do it efficiently and you don't take longer than those 15 seconds in between, it's about 30 to 45 minutes because it's 5 workouts, you know, and you get to 100 and you will feel a really, really good pump after that.
Yeah.
So it's really about time under tension. It's not about how much time you spend in the gym. It's how much work you're putting on your muscles while you're there.
Yeah. I would say to that point, there's 1,000 roads to being fit.
For sure.
Like some people will get in their heads and they'll be like, well, I have to do it this way, or I have to do strong lifts 5x5 or whatever. If you like that, you can get fit that way. If you like this, if you like the Athlean X, and they always come up with fun,
they have
like
great
gamify,
stuff. Great
gamify,
stuff, yeah.
and if that's what you need, then that's a great way to do it. So I think understanding that there's 1,000 roads to finding fitness is one of the most important things that you can ever do, because you should try something, and if it doesn't click,
find what
don't do
works
it.
for you.
I love to go in there. I love to lift heavy things, get a pump. I do way more exercises than I need to. On like a push day or a pull day, I do way more than I need to. I could consolidate all that down into way more, but I like being there. I like putting on the TV. I like watching wrestling and working out. And so like sometimes I'll find an excuse to do an extra thing that keeps me down there for 90 minutes, even though I could have been done in 45, you know?
And that's interesting because you have a home gym. And
Yeah.
I've had people tell me I should get a home gym.
Yeah.
But I can't do it because it's too, I always say it this way, it's too close to my couch.
You want the
It's too close to my refrigerator.
interesting.
And I like the idea of going to the gym and it's like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Now I've got to work.
That's
As opposed to like if I'm in my own gym, which would be like in my garage or something, which is right next to the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh man, I've got a steak waiting to be made in there or something, you know, or like, I just don't think I would work as hard. I think I would try to knock it out quickly and I'd be a little lazy at times. And then so I think the level of discipline it takes to put in that work at home is admirable and something that I probably don't have, but you know, that's what, but again, what works for you, you know, that works for you. It doesn't necessarily work for me. So, I mean, everyone's different. As long as you get to the destination, that's what counts.
You never have to wait for a squat rack at a home gym.
That's true.
That is the one thing I'll say.
I have to have someone to work out with. I won't do it my own. It's what you're saying. Man, you know how nice it is to not do anything? It's awesome. Dude, doing nothing means a lot to me. It's great. It's fantastic. But we work out at like 8 in the morning. Like, because if I put it off like later in the day, I don't want to do it. I'm not looking forward to it. But you hit it. It's before your day starts. We hit it in the morning and then it's done. I know that there's a guy waiting for me there who's waiting on me to get started. That motivates me to go and do it more than anything else. Because if it's just, all right, I'm going to do it at 8 a.m. myself in my garage with like some free weights and whatever, I just won't do it.
Yeah.
I'll sit with a cup of coffee and I won't do it.
Yeah.
That cup of coffee will last an hour and a half.
Oh man, you've never had a colder cup of coffee at the end of it.
It's so cold at the
It's
end.
ice cold, the dregs.
Yeah.
Anything
the
to put it off.
winter came, and then the winter thawed. It's the summer.
But like, you're right. It's so easy to like once you start seeing results, man, you just want to keep seeing results.
Oh yeah.
It feels good. And when my wife goes, hey, your legs are looking bigger. Wow, your arms look really big. I'm like, oh, I love you. This is great. Watch this. Now look at this. And now here's what I'm doing. And I'm going to do it more. That's the best.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah. Seeing those results is it's everything.
It's pretty incredible. I'm interestingly entirely self-motivated.
Really?
I work out. I do have 2 very close friends that I basically came to me and they're like, can we train with you? We want to change or whatever. And I was like, absolutely. Happy to share my knowledge with you. So I train them, which I think makes me a better re-examining the routine that I'm doing, because I can see their progress, and like if an exercise is resonating with them, I reassess how it works with me and stuff like that. But I, for years, decades probably, would be like, nope, time to go to the gym, work out alone. I put in some earbuds and I work out alone, and that's just sometimes before earbuds, I just listen to the music.
That's what I used to
raw
do.
dogging a Planet
That's what I used to do.
Supernatural
Raw dogging
on
a
the
Planet
TV.
Fitness. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I would just be at Bally Total Fitness
Yeah,
with
yeah.
no headphones on.
Yeah,
and
just
listening to
raw
whatever.
dog it.
Yeah. Listen to Rihanna on the.
Yeah. The other tip that I always want to give away is the super secret is log your workouts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether it's writing it down in a notepad or having an app or something, because I do it all the time and I am wrong. I go, oh, it's probably been what, maybe 5 days since the last time I did triceps. And then you look at the log and you go, oh, it's been 9 months.
Yeah.
Or some like
Wow.
it's always these things where you like think in your head, or like when I used to go to a commercial gym and they have all these different machines and stuff. You're like, oh, how long has it been since I've done the hammer strength chest press?
Yeah.
I feel like I did it not too long ago. And then you just go, oh, that was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
I should probably do this more, or like keep it more accountable. And when I didn't write things down, that would happen all the time, and you can't measure your progress. It seems like you're like, I'll just remember I did 8. Next time I do this, I'll just try and do 9. You will completely forget. You do 7, and then you miss out on the opportunity to
Have a little
improve.
notebook, jot it down
Yeah.
every
Just write
time
it
I'm
down.
working out in the morning.
You mentioned accountability, and I'll go back to you, Eric, when you were talking about having to have somebody there. Do you feel like that makes you more accountable?
Oh God, yeah, yeah. And I'm working harder because I know he's watching my form.
Yeah.
Like when he's
Scrutinizing.
yeah, but he's picking me apart. He's like, hey, like on a bench press or whatever. He's like elbows in, and it's like, oh shit, man,
Two
that's
more,
good.
no matter what.
It's that always,
Yeah.
always. It's that, and it's like that helps me a lot.
Yeah,
And knowing that I have another person, and then also we're just shooting the shit the whole time. You know what I
That
mean?
helps.
We're chopping it up and talking about, like, he used to work at Rooster Teeth, so it's like catching up about like his show and what he's doing, and then he's like, what have you guys been up to? And all, you know, that really helps. So if you want to like get started, try to get started with a friend, try to build habits.
For sure.
And then if you can do it by yourself and your friend doesn't want to do it, great, whatever. But if your friend wants to keep doing it, keep doing it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I think that's really important. I've always been pretty good at going either way, whether I can work out by myself or with a partner. But there are definitely those days where I get onto a treadmill or a Stairmaster and say, I'm going to do 30 minutes.
Yep.
And then about 8 minutes in, I'm like,
Who's gonna know?
No.
Who's
nobody
gonna
here
know?
knows how
Yep.
long I've been on this
Yeah,
thing.
Yep. Sometimes you go for like, I'm gonna do like 10 to 12 on this, and you hit 8, and you go, 8's close. 8's close.
That's right, that's
You're
right.
fine.
I feel like we've barely scratched the surface.
I know.
We're definitely gonna come back to this.
There is something that I really want to get to, and this is going to lead us into where
Richard Hood?
we started.
Okay,
Oh, boy.
okay,
And
okay.
I want to
baby.
talk about Akeem,
Okay.
Okay.
the African Dream.
Beautiful.
Let's get into some character stuff
Uh-huh.
Okay.
before we head out of here. Do you guys remember Akeem?
Yeah.
The African Dream.
Oh yeah.
I recently started watching some of his stuff on YouTube, and one, I did not realize that his character was they were trying to portray him as a black man from Africa.
What do you mean you didn't understand that?
I knew his character was he's from Africa. I did not realize they were trying to say he's a black man from Africa.
Okay, all right.
How did you not get that?
I must have missed, like, when I'm watching, and the way I got it was like, I thought he was just a white guy from Africa.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah.
And so then he's on the Arsenio Hall show, which I'm watching recently. And and Akeem's like, this right here, he's gonna be the Slick, his manager. He's like, this right here is gonna be the first black heavyweight champion of the world. And then Arsenio asked him, Arsenio's like, so you are a black man from Africa.
Yeah.
And he's like, you heard what the doctor told you. You see my clothes. I know you jealous of them. I know you want to go buy some. It's like, whoa, this character is so good. Why was he not my favorite
He was
wrestler?
the one man
Why was
gang.
he not my favorite?
He was the one man gang, and then he became the African Dream, and that's. Now that
Golden.
is a character that you'll remember forever.
Hall of
Even
Fame.
if apparently you don't
Hall of
get
Fame.
it.
I
Hall
just
of
think it's
Fame.
great that you're like, wow, that was it. We had it so good.
If
What a
that
time.
character was in wrestling today, he'd be one of the biggest stars in wrestling.
Oh, Absolutely. When you
He'd
see,
be so over.
hey, shouts out to Stephen Flow, who came out to the song Even Flow, but re-recorded as his name Stephen Flow.
Everyone sent that.
Steven
But here's
Flow.
the thing.
That was
Is
it.
that a real thing?
Yes.
I've never heard
No,
of
it's-
this.
it-
I did not
it-
hear
it-
about this.
Everyone,
That's brilliant.
everyone who's a casual wrestling fan
Yep.
sent that to me,
Everyone.
which is great. And
Yep.
I went, Raven exists.
Holy cow.
Uh-huh.
This
I don't
guy's
know who
just doing
Steven
Raven
Flow is,
again.
but
That's
that's
it.
great.
It's
Is he
Raven.
he's being Raven's character?
Raven was he was the grunge guy,
Yeah.
He
right?
looks-
And he did the even flow, but he came out to what did Raven came out to
What
knock
was
off
the
of
what was
Pearl Jam?
what was the
Uh,
knockoff
it
of
was-
it was a different one. It
He
was
came
a
out to
different
like
Pearl
an
Jam song.
Offspring song or something, didn't he?
And then it was
ECW?
like because then who came out? Somebody
But
when he
WCW,
was-
Jericho.
when
he
was
came
in-
out to like
when he was-
bum,
Chris
bum,
Jericho
bum,
came
bum,
out
bum,
to
bum, something
an
like that.
Even Flow ripoff,
When-
which is weird because Raven had Even Flow
That's right.
all the way.
It wasn't even.
Yeah,
But when he was Raven's Flock in WCW,
Yeah.
he came out to a knockoff
Yeah.
of
Yes,
a Pearl
of a
Jam,
Pearl
Of a
Jam
Pearl
song,
Jam
right?
yeah.
song,
But
I
it
think,
wasn't
yeah.
even
No.
flow, but he did the even flow
Even Flow
DDT.
DDT.
yeah.
Yeah.
But now this guy
Steven
is Steven
Flow.
Flow, and he's doing it, and I'm like, in my brain, I went, You're not copying Pearl Jam. You're copying Raven, man.
I like that you're
Steven
defensive.
Flow.
Honestly, the re-recording of the name of like the song with the
Yeah.
guy singing Steven Flow
Yeah.
over the
I
whole
love
thing,
that.
brilliant, genius.
love that.
But when you're talking about Akeem, that's it, man. Nobody remembers.
So
nobody
good.
remembers all the moves. The
So
moves
good.
are great.
So
They're
good.
fun.
So
When
good.
you have a 10-star match, fucking incredible, awesome. But when you're Steven Flow,
Steven Flow
everybody sent it to me.
or
Yeah.
Richard Hood.
Dude,
Yeah.
oh my God, guys.
Hood Rich.
Hood
Can we talk about
Rich.
Hood Rich real
We
quick?
have to talk about
Let's
Richard
talk
Hood.
about-
Before we get out of here.
let's talk about Hood Rich.
Yeah.
Richard Hood.
So this is the creating character section.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're gonna create the character.
man.
All right. So Richard Hood.
Richard
Hood.
Hood Rich.
Hood
Richard
Rich.
Hood.
First off,
He's portraying a black man from Africa.
first off, we're gonna build this, but I want the people in the comment section to tell us, similar to the way the one man gang became Akeem.
Yeah.
What wrestler in AEW or WWE or TNA could we turn into?
Wow.
Oh, gimmick
Hood
change.
Rich.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hood Rich.
What's Scorpio Sky been up to?
Is that-
Oh, maybe that's it for me. Maybe that's it.
You're Hood Rich. I'm telling you.
Tony.
You texting your
Tony,
agent?
Tony, I got an idea.
Got an idea.
Now here's the thing: if you grab Griff Garrison,
Griff
and
Garrison.
all
All
of
right.
a sudden,
yeah.
you, I guess you'd have to get a haircut.
No.
Wow, no.
Cornrows. Cornrows.
Oh, Griff, run, get out of here.
He's got all the beautiful hair.
He has beautiful hair.
Yeah.
Cornrows.
Cornrows.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Does
And-
he drive a car? Is
To the ring?
His entrance, he drives a car.
No. He's driven to the
He's
ring.
driven.
Whoa.
In like a
okay.
Bentley or really nice car.
Prius.
He has a Prius, a Tesla. No,
Tesla.
he has a driver get out and open the door for
Nice.
him
I
every
like that.
entrance.
Yeah.
Wow.
He gets out. Oh, you know what it is? Okay, this is for Griff Garrison. Do you remember when Terry Taylor was like the tailor-made
Oh
man?
Yeah.
That's Richard
Okay.
Hood.
Oh wow.
Okay.
That's Griff Garrison
Hood-
is Richard Hood.
Hood Rich.
Can I just?
Richard
I
Hood?
have to point out real quick, and we can cut this if we need to.
Yeah.
But he becomes Dick Hood if you shorten his name.
I like it.
I don't know that anyone likes that.
He could be
his
sponsored.
finisher is called
he
the
could be
foreskin.
sponsored by. He could be sponsored by Trojan.
There it is. There it
Dick
is.
Hood.
There it is. We got there.
Griff,
We're
you got
good.
it. Griff, you got to start saying no to ideas.
No,
this
Griff,
is,
this is the one.
This could be the one to get you over the top, brother.
Yeah.
dude. What the? Griff Garrison, cornrows,
Richard Hood.
looking like Terry Taylor in
Yeah,
'92
with his tailor suit.
He puts
tailor-made suit.
on like these really big, gaudy sunglasses.
Uh-huh.
He
Yeah.
looks in his locker and he sees his old varsity jacket.
Yeah.
close
Close
the
it
locker,
forever.
straighten the
Yeah.
tie. Wow.
Maybe a monocle.
Wow.
I like that.
Wow. Going real
Pocket
rich.
No, maybe not pocket. I was going to say
Pocket watch.
maybe no monocle, but a pocket watch.
Yeah, on a chain or
Well,
He
something.
takes
that's
it out and he
That's-
says,
yeah.
you know,
Well,
That's
he has to have a line,
That's what his
like-
whole thing is. He's a man.
Time
of
is money.
business.
time is money.
Time is money.
So he gets out and he
yeah.
checks his watch.
Well, think about it. You use that. That's the finish too. The butler driver distracts the ref. he pulls the pocket watch out. Bang.
That's his
Damn.
finish. His
Hits-
finish is
hits
called
him
Time
with
is
a-
Money.
yep.
Time is money.
There's
Time
the
is
cover.
money.
Hood Rich,
Richard
Richard
Hood.
Wow.
Richard Hood.
Wow.
Hood Rich.
That was easy. That was
Griff,
really easy.
This is free. We don't need to. You don't have to charge us. Just pitch it, bro.
Come on the
Pitch it.
show.
Yeah, come on the show. Come on the show. We got a chair for you. Yeah,
Dude.
Can you imagine Richard Hood against what's the guy's name, the masked wrestler that debuted last year?
Hologram?
Hologram.
Hologram and Richard Hood.
I'd watch
Richard
it.
Hood versus Hologram.
I'd watch it.
Yeah.
That's
Tell me that's not gonna
That's
headline
money.
I mean,
a
I think
collision.
it's great.
that
I love
could
it.
that could definitely be on an ROH pay-per-view.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah.
Right?
Of course.
That's what I'm saying.
Television title match.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I want to watch some more work a pure rules match where it's only holds. The finish out of nowhere. Fucking hits all holds.
Yeah.
And the finish he hits him in the
Hits him
pocket
with the
watch.
freaking
The
pocket
loaded
watch.
fist.
What can we do? What can we do?
I love it.
Now
Wow.
this is why we started the podcast.
Literally.
This
Huge.
was, dude, who would have thought that this was the direction that we went with Hood Rich Richard Hood?
Well, we need suggestions for the next one.
Let us
We
know.
brought that one. We
Yeah.
brought Hood Rich to the table.
Wow.
But we need you guys in the comments or wherever you listen to this podcast to let us know what we should create next.
What's the next character?
What's the next character?
Man,
And who might you want that character to be?
that's a great
Yeah.
idea. I
Yeah.
love assigning it to someone is like the good kind of mean-spirited.
Or a gimmick that didn't work, right?
Yeah.
Like a gimmick that didn't work at the time.
Mhm.
How could it have been saved
Oh, that's
into
good.
something else?
Now
I'm
we're
excited
talking.
for
this,
that.
That would
This
be
is pretty
fun.
Get in
good.
the comment section. Let us know a gimmick from the past that
Yep.
didn't work that could be saved in today's wrestling.
Yes.
This is good.
Please, I
Yep.
love that.
Yep.
Rate us. Give us a good rating.
Yeah,
5 stars all the way.
5 stars.
5 stars.
Yep.
I'll
And
accept
a
4.5.
tip.
but-
No.
I always listen to podcasts. They go, give us 5 stars. I go, but what if it's a 4?
No, but it's not a 4. It's a 5. It's 5 only.
All right.
Five.
I want the 5. I want to
Only
earn
5.
the 5, but
Only 5.
just a good rating, a good solid rating would be awesome. Tell us what you think of the show. And we'll be back next week. Right?
Follow us Instagram. Creating
Follow-
Character Pod.
Creating Character Pod. Follow us Instagram.
Yeah. What are we posting there? Clips?
Yeah, probably clips.
We'll post clips.
Some cool pictures. You got camera here taking some snapshots. Everyone's
Yeah.
looking good.
We got some stuff.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
good, you
We
know.
get a kindergartner to draw.
Rich, if you have some drawings of Hood
Yeah,
Rich
and
Richard
we'll
Hood,
repost your
send them
fan
in.
art.
We'll
For
Griff.
sure.
Griff, if you see this, just please take a picture.
That's
of it.
right.
Just put a suit
You
on.
got to do something.
I'm not saying you have to spend the hours getting your hair cornrowed.
Pull it back
but
at
just pull it back.
least.
Pull it
Yeah,
back
yeah.
in a ponytail, but wet it.
Yeah.
It's got to be
Yeah.
slick.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
Ooh, that might even be better than the cornrows, actually. Slicked back in the ponytail.
but then it'll
that's,
come undone during the match,
Oh, yeah.
maybe.
when he's been in too much time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, and he starts really losing it. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
oh
he gets
man,
pissed off. Oh, yeah. I love that. All right, y'all. This
Oh,
was
my
great.
God,
That
This
was
was
awesome.
something,
I
man.
can't wait to do the next one.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. I'm not the outro guy. I don't know
Let's
why I'm
have
doing
James
that.
do it.
James,
Thank
you're
you
the
for
outro.
joining us, everybody. I'm the outro guy. My name is James Willems. You can follow me on Instagram at james.willems. Basically, search James Willems wherever you get your James Willems, and I'll probably be there. I'll probably be the only one. I think it's me and a cardiac surgeon. Sky,
Oh, that's
where can
fun.
people find you?
Right here.
That's right, baby.
At Scorpio Sky on Instagram, Scorpio Sky Official on TikTok. I don't post anything there, but follow anyway. And then again, once again, I've got to say it. Creating Character Pod everywhere. Follow. Plus, Lakers in 5.
Whoa!